What's up, nerds? Last concept was the lizard. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. So I'm kind of stealing ideas from the game itself and my own ideas. So this is quite the hybrid character as well. And before we get into it, if you guys would want live streams where you guys help me make the concepts, let me know. That would be sick. We could do like a weekly live stream where you guys help me make a concept for a character and then I can turn it into a video. That would be epic. But yeah, let me know. I already have a few planned, but let me know if you do want the live streams. I think that would be sick. All right, so what do we got? Updated the budget. All right, we got an actual background this time. Ant-Man's design, I would probably want like a techie Scott Lang design. Yes, he would probably end up being Scott Lang instead of Hank Pym if they actually added him to the game. Let's be real. That's just the most popular version of the character right now is Scott Lang. Tony Stark actually has a few voice lines with Spider-Man where they mention Hank Pym. But yeah, this is my concept, right? So let's just get into this. Okay, so first ability, aka the primary, we got Pym Punch. My idea for Scott Lang here is to make him more melee orientated, but just to tone him back a little bit, a lot of his abilities actually include bonus health rather than healing. It's like a good mix. So just like how Adam Warlock is a DPS strategist hybrid, I was trying to lean Ant-Man into that hybrid territory. I was hoping to make him a strategist hybrid tank. So I try to make him as interesting and unique as possible. So his primary, you can probably relate it mostly to Invisible Woman's primary, where she attacks a few times and then the third one knocks people back with her like force push. It's very similar. He does a few punches and then I was kind of being specific, but not really. So basically his fourth punch would like shrink you for a second. It'd just be like a quick shrink and then you would punch whoever's in front of you and then they would get knocked back. That's basically it. So he would go punch, 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 whoosh, right over there. Next, we got his right mouse button. Sorry for you console nerds, I am talking about PC controls today, unfortunately. So for his right mouse button, I called it ant reinforcements. You basically choose a location to put like an army of ants down. So similar to Penny's Nest, you would just like pick a location to place it. For this, when you place it down, it's just like a giant circle of ants. This was actually my girlfriend's idea. We thought it'd be pretty cool if you put down the ants and they circle in an area and kind of reach out to teammates in a radius to heal them. Let's just say they're right here. This is my Doctor Strange. I'm Ant-Man. I place down the ant reinforcements and the ants are going to be healing him as he's defending our team from this guy and this guy. But if Doctor Strange decides to leave that circle, or if I place it too far back and he's not directly in it, the ants will break off from that circle and hit any nearby ally to heal them. So you have this initial circle, this initial radius where they probably get like a lot of healing inside, but if they get out of the circle they still get healed but at a reduced quantity. So yeah, that's it for his right mouse button. You just put down a bunch of fucking ants and they go to your allies to heal them. More healing in the center, and then if they get too far they still get healed but a little bit less healing than they probably would in here. So let's just put that away for visual reference. So his E I'm calling Pym Particle. So when you throw a Pym Particle, you throw it at an ally, they shrink to a very small size, gain a speed boost and healing over time for a duration. Say my Luna is up here, Doctor Strange dies, you got Iron Fist pulling up on her, she can't escape. I can throw a Pym Particle at her, she shrinks, and then she gets a speed boost and healing over time, so she's able to escape, return to my side, and then at that point hopefully Doctor Strange returns to protect us. Or say Iron Fist here pulls up, he is diving our backline. If an enemy is shrunk, they take increased damage and are slowed. So if I threw the Pym Particle at Iron Fist, he would shrink, but he wouldn't get faster, he would move super fucking slow, and he would take increased damage. He would gain damage vulnerability, just like how close Dark Wall works. You shoot at somebody, they take increased damage, and then before he gets to retreat to his team, squash. Dead. So that could be pretty good backline defense. And then we have Ant Cavalry. This is his shift ability. You begin riding a giant ant steed. This guy right here. Bro just sits on it, okay? He just grows one of his ants and then he starts riding it like a fucking war elephant. Using primary in this state does a high damage combo with its mandibles. So instead of doing Pym Punch, the ant is going to be attacking with its mandibles. It also increases movement speed and grants you significant bonus health. similar to how Mr. Fantastic's passive works, where he gets big and gets a bunch of bonus health. When you activate shift and start riding the big ant, you get a bunch of bonus health. Doing melee attacks with Ant-Man will be very important. I will let you know why later. Jumping during this will shrink you and the ant, gaining free flight and invulnerability for a duration. So basically, if you decide to jump while you're riding the ant, say your extra health is running low, you're about to die, you and the ant just jump in the air real quick, you shrink, so you have a few seconds of flight and invulnerability because you're tiny as shit, nobody's gonna be able to hit you. So you have a few seconds to get to safe ground or just to retreat. And when the timer decides to run out and you grow back to full size, you lose the ant, you are back to your normal state. So yeah, that is Ant Cavalry. And before we move on to his ultimate, I just want to point out the passive real quick. His passive is Insect Suit. Dealing damage grants bonus health to you and nearby allies. So him doing his primary is going to grant him and nearby allies health. Oh, scratch that, bonus health. Like I said, I wanted him to be like a tank strategist hybrid, so I incorporated bonus health into quite a few of his abilities. So his pin particle and ant reinforcements abilities both heal, whereas his primary and shift give him and other people bonus health. So it's basically Magic's passive, but instead of just giving herself bonus health, it gives people around him bonus health as well. And then finally, we got his ultimate. I called it Giant Man. Ant-Man makes himself huge for some time, granting himself significant amounts of bonus health, and damage inflicted grants nearby allies much more bonus health. Your pin punch combos attack instead does a stomp attack that launches up enemies. So basically, for his ultimate, he's just gonna get very, very large, and instead of his pin punch where he punches people, he's just gonna start using his feet and stomping people. There's nothing like this in the game really, except for Hulk's ultimate where he just turns into Monster Hulk. It's pretty much identical, except I would probably want Ant-Man to be much larger than that just for funsies and because it would be cool. And maybe depending on where you're aiming your attacks, maybe you can like swap people out of the sky when you're big. That would be cool. But yeah, that would last a certain amount of time. His passive is still active in this Giant Man state, so if he's doing any sort of melee attacks and actually damaging people, then that is going to be granting nearby allies bonus health. So if he's up here beating on Iron Fist, he and Doctor Strange are both going to be getting bonus health, whereas Luna over here is not getting any of the benefit because she's not over here. No specific numbers or anything. I don't want to get too deep into balance and shit. That's not really possible. The only real number I gave him was 275 health because I feel like that's fair. I didn't want to give him too much health. I didn't want him to be too independent and not rely on his team. That defeats the whole purpose. And if people get too close to him, his primary knocks people back on the 4th hit, so that would enable him to try to make some space in between him and anybody attacking him. So Iron Fist decides to dive 1, 2, 3, and then 4th punch, he would shrink and then push the guy back and then grow back after the combo is done. So yeah, that's the concept I got. Like I said, if you want to do those live streams where you come up with the ideas with me and then I turn it into a video, that would be awesome. If you liked this idea today, let me know. Ant-Man's not one of my favorite characters of all time, but I think he would be super interesting. I think he would be perfect as a strategist tank hybrid, because right now we have a few DPS strategist hybrids like Adam Warlock and Mantis. The closest thing we have to a Vanguard strategist hybrid is Invisible Woman's Shield. That is the only sort of Vanguard ability that we see. But yeah, I think this lines up. I think it's pretty 50-50 Vanguard and strategist, and it would definitely help people get comfortable with being in other roles. Like Mr. Fantastic, for example, is a good character for DPS players to get used to being a Vanguard and then kind of dip their toes in the water and eventually maybe just go full Vanguard, because a lot of people in the game purely just play DPS and it is such a problem. This is probably the last hybrid character I'm going to do for a while, and I'll see you. Peace.